There we go. Hey, welcome. I'm Terry Kuss from Northeast Healing Arts. Looks like we got a nice crowd out there, and we're going to learn some fun stuff today. We're going to learn how to hold the endpoints of meridians and couple those with some affirmations and some breathing exercises. So, my story is that I've been a massage therapist for, oh gosh, almost 38 years now. And a few years into my career, I started having some physical symptoms myself, I had the bilateral golfer's elbow. I had some tendonitis going on in my wrists, and I was at a place where I was getting really worried that I was going to have to quit doing massage. And I really love massage. It was working so well for me. But the problem is, I developed that crowd that liked the deep tissue and the sports massage. And, once you get good at one thing, the word spreads. So my practice was primarily the really deep tissue. And so my body, after a while, started kind of whining. And early on, I had taken Touch for Health and I learned some different kinesiology things, but I didn't really use that in my massage practice. I used that primarily for my family because I had a little toddler son that had 9 different food sensitivities, allergies. And we discovered those by taking him to a woman who practiced kinesiology. And she would muscle test me, push down on my arm while I touched him. And she would put all these different little vials, like one at a time, on his body or in his little pants pocket. And then she would test. And every time my arm went down, then she would say, "Oh, wow." She would mark something on a chart. By the end, she said, "Your little boy is very sick. This is serious." She said, "If you don't remove those foods from his diet immediately, it's going to be downhill. And he's going to get a diagnosis. They're going to probably diagnose him with ADHD, put him in special classes and all that." His symptoms were headaches, tummy aches. He couldn't hear me. I'd have to call his name like four and 5 times before he would even slow down and stop. He had multiple ear infections, wasn't sleeping through the night. Just a lot of things were happening, and a real defiance. Like he was just, you know, a lot of people told me, "Well, it's just the terrible twos," but I knew in my mother heart that it was more than, it wasn't just the terrible twos. So when she discovered all those food allergies through muscle testing, I decided that I needed to learn how to muscle test and how to work with, getting those foods out of his diet and keeping him clean for as much as I could. So anyhow, that really thrust me into the interest of specialized kinesiology and energy medicine. But like I said, I wasn't really able to bridge it into my massage until my body started breaking down and I was faced with having to leave. So then little by little, I incorporated muscle testing and energy balancing into my massage. And lo and behold, my wrists got better, my elbows got better, and I was able to stay in the career that I loved. So that's just a little bit of my background. And then it was in 2013 that I decided to go through training and become an instructor because I thought this is working so well for me and my clients. I really want to share this with other practitioners that are struggling. And I met a lot of women my age that were having physical symptoms and doing the massage for years and years, and they felt like they had to leave or really limit their practice. So I started teaching in 2013. And then when the pandemic hit, the organization that I was with, which was Touch for Health, required that we all quit teaching because I went, well, we had to. And I wanted to teach online, but they didn't have an offering for online instruction. So I developed my own. And that's what I developed when I developed a 3-day workshop, and I took all my favorite techniques from all the different kinesiology workshops that I had taken throughout the last, several years. And I compiled them into this one 3-day workshop. And I also discovered ways to make it simpler. I thought about how all the different things that I had tried to learn and had really struggled. And I thought, how could I make this easier? So I've taken a lot of complicated concepts and kind of simplified them so that anybody can learn, whether you're a medical professional or lay people or whatever. And we work a lot with the Meridian system and the energy medicine based on Chinese model. There's all kinds of emotions that go with the Chinese meridians. And in our webinar here today, when we hold the endpoints, which I'll tell you about in a little bit, I'm going to give you three emotions, three negative emotions to release and diffuse. And then we're going to replace those with three positive. And there's a lot more than three emotions that go with the Chinese Meridian system, but I'm just abbreviating it today because otherwise we'd be here a lot longer than an hour. So we're going to hold the endpoints. Okay, so meridian tracing, let me tell you a little bit about that. Meridians are the energy pathways which the chi flows through. And I know a lot of you are familiar with that. And I'm not going to go into depth because I know we just don't have the time and we want to get into doing the technique. I'm going to shut my phone off. I just heard a little ding. I'm going to put it on airplane mode. There we go. All right. So the meridians are the energy pathways that flow through the body, and there's a meridian for all the major organs. Well, there's 20 meridians total. And in this workshop, we're going to deal with the 14 major. Okay, so they all have an energy pathway of which the chi, the life force, flows through. Some cultures call it prana. I've heard it called ki. We're going to call it chi based on the Chinese model today. So those meridian pathways, I like to think of them like a string of Christmas lights. So we've got a red string. Think about a red string of lights connected to a yellow string, and then a yellow string connected to a white, and white to maybe blue, which is, and then green. Okay, so I have a model. There's a poster. This is one of my posters that I created and I sell on my website too, if you're interested. But I have the Chinese 5-element model there, and it shows those colors that I just said. So we've got fire, fire, and then if we're going clockwise, it's earth, metal, then we've got water, and then we have wood, and back to fire. So all those have strings of Christmas lights, and there's an organ on the inside of the circle and an organ on the outside. And we're going to connect one of the organs on the outside, which is the yang organs, to one of the yin organs. And in case you're curious, we don't need to know this, but the yang organs are all the hollow organs, the ones that empty and fill. They rest and they work. They're considered the male cycle. And then the ones on the inside are the female. They're called yin. And the yin are solid, like the heart. The heart is solid. We've got, so we've got the heart, we've got the spleen, the lung, the kidney, and the liver. Those are all solid. They always are working, okay? They never stop. So we're going to pair the endpoints of one of the yang meridians with the endpoints of one of the yin on the inside. And it doesn't matter if we do the beginning or the end. I've paired a couple that are closest to each other that will be the most convenient. So this is going to be equal. Okay, so yeah, the Chinese model would be ideal health would be that all the bulbs would be lit up. So when an acupuncturist works with the different meridians, they will often needle one particular point, one of those Christmas lights that would be maybe at a deficit of energy. It wouldn't be working well. So, in our case, we could say, well, that bulb needed to be jiggled or tweaked, or it was burnt out, so it needs replacing. Well, they will needle it and get the energy to flow through it. Okay. And an interesting thought is that even in a string of Christmas lights, when one bulb is burnt out, often the bulbs after that will be affected too, right? So it's kind of the domino effect. There's also something called the triangle of health, and that's where we would have physiology and structure on one side of the triangle, and we would have emotions and psychological aspect on the other, and then we would have nutrition, biochemical. And so ideal picture of health is that we would have equal on all those sides of the triangle. And that, if one side is out, it's going to affect the other sides. So think about a person who's depressed. So that's an emotional problem and going on in the mind. And then what does that do to the body, the structure? They're going to be downcast, slumped over. It's going to show up in their posture, right? Often. Not always, but often. And then think about somebody who doesn't get enough nutrition, the biochemical side. Well, if they're not getting enough nutrition, that's going to affect their structure too. Their bones, they don't have enough calcium pretty soon. They'll be prone to osteoporosis, things like that, structural deviations. Okay, so like I said, we want to have all all the bulbs lit up and we want to have equal balance on structure, emotions, and nutrition. I also want to talk to you about an iceberg and the body's energy system. Some of you have heard me give this example. So we've got the water line, and then I want you to think of a big, huge iceberg. And that little bump above, that's those are the symptoms. Those are the things that we can measure, we can see, we can feel. Okay. Underneath the water line is the body's energy system. That's the stuff that Western medicine has very little knowledge of. And we've all heard the story of either yourself or somebody else that goes through they're not feeling well. So they go through a whole battery of tests and it comes back that, well, the labs are clean. So you're all good now. Not. You still feel really tired. You feel lousy. You know something is off, but the labs say you're good. Well, I would suspect that there would be all kinds of imbalances in your body's energy system, and those have never been addressed. So I feel like for a lot of you people, if you balance the body's energy system before you do the massage or before you do your adjustments or other, even nutrition, it enhances the effect of everything else that we're doing. If we balance the body's energy system first before a massage, that bump on top is going to shrink and your workload will be less. The massage will be a lot easier. They will respond more favorably to nutrition. There's a lot of different things that balancing the body's energy system first just makes sense. You will have greater energy. You'll have a greater sense of feeling grounded. You'll have more clarity of thought. It even helps cognition, helps memory. Calming the nervous system, you will decrease pain, relaxation, better sleep. There's a lot of good reasons why you would want to balance the body's energy system first. Okay. So I'm going to share with you, and we'll jump into the presentation now, what we're going to do. Oh, while I'm here, I wanted to just show you, I'm going to show you the Meridian pathway. We're going to hold the endpoints. Like the first one will be the central and the governing. So I'll be having you put your hands on your lips. You can either do thumb below and a couple fingers up top, or if you want to go like this, that's fine. Whatever is more comfortable. So I'll show you the pathway. I'll show you where to put your hands. Then I'm going to read 3 negative words while you're holding. And then I'm going to have you do a breathing exercise. So you'll breathe in for 4, and then you'll hold for 2, and I'm going to have you exhale for 6. This is polyvagal breathing, and it's going to also balance your vagus nerve. So that'll even be another benefit of this technique. And then we'll switch hands, and we will infuse the positive. So it's like once we've let go of the negative, it's like there's a big hole there. Like when you weed the garden, like Monica, she was out weeding the garden today. Maybe Monica pulled up a big, huge dandelion and there was a hole in the ground. So how about if we put something good in that hole? We're going to put some positive emotions, kind of like we're going to plant a seed and make a beautiful flower come up there instead of a weed. Okay. Although dandelions are kind of cute, but I would rather have some other nice flowers. So, and then we will read. So I'll read the positive to infuse that. So we diffuse the negative, we infuse the positive, and then I'm going to say a little affirmation for both of those meridians. And then at the very end, we're going to do something called anchoring, where we take our 5 fingers and we touch the 5 fingers together. And we just say, yep, we lock it in. Okay. It's kind of like the yes and amen. It shall be so. So we touch those, and then I'll move on to the next meridian. Okay. All right. And just to let you know, I am going to hang out at the end. If anybody wants to stay afterwards and chat, or if you've got questions about my workshop or the presentation, I will be here, but I will try to end on the hour so that I know the rest of you can get back to work. Okay. All right. So here we go. There we go. All right. So we're going to release toxic emotions trapped in organs to improve physical and emotional vitality. Okay. There's a triangle of health that I talked about, the psychological and emotional, the anatomical and structural, and the biochemical, nutritional. Okay. Oh, just to let you know, I am going to send you a copy of this PDF. So you'll get this and you'll get a link to repeat this webinar in case you wanted to watch this again or share it with a friend. Okay. And then I also have one more bonus for you that I'll tell you at the end. Okay. All right. So here's the iceberg. We already talked about that. Um, yeah. And I also said the person who comes back, all your labs are clean. So they probably have imbalances in the body's energy system. Same thing with your clients who come back. You work so hard, you pull every tool out of your bag, you use everything on them, you get all their knots to relax, or you get them all balanced out with chiropractic or whatever it is. And then they come back and it's the same pattern. It's the same problem over and over. And you start to get that feeling like, gee, what am I missing? Well, that person too, I would suspect that there's imbalances in the body's energy system that have never been addressed. So, all right. Okay, so here's a picture of the five element. And this is right off of my poster too. So there's different overarching emotions that I have listed here for any of those four organs that are in the fire. Kind of the overarching theme is passion and perseverance. Okay. It's about love, joy, hate. And there's a sound, laughing, laughter. Okay. For spleen and stomach, it's about empathy and sympathy. And the sound is singing, and the emotions are, I can't see the screen here. I gotta look here. I wrote on there, okay, yeah, nurture and support. Okay, nurture and support, empathy and sympathy. Okay. And then for the metal, it's about grief and loss. And it's I think it's the sound is sighing, and the emotions are, yeah, I already wrote yeah, grief, guilt, and regret is what I have written on my poster that I can't see because you guys in the gallery are here. So a lot of times if people who are going through lung issues, if they've had a lot of loss, they're grieving. A lot of times that's the time that they're going to have the bronchitis, the pneumonia, the just a lot of upper respiratory things can happen as a result of grief because that's one of the big emotions associated with that. And also feeling unworthy is a big lung emotion. And that's about discernment and discretion. A lot of times the overarching emotions with the metal. Okay, and then we've got water, anxiety, fear. The sound is groaning. And it's about courage and confidence, moving forward in life, taking that step. Okay. And then wood, anger, resentment. The sound is shouting. Okay. Challenges and choices. When you have a lot of decisions to make, you're feeling kind of jammed up and you just really, you can't make a decision. A lot of times there's stagnation in your gallbladder. Okay. So let's start. Oh, last thing is a sigh or a yawn. Sometimes when you're doing energy balancing and when things release either on you or the client, you might get a big yawn. You might get a sigh. You might get nothing at all. It doesn't mean that it's not shifting and working. So anyhow, during this presentation today, don't be surprised if you get some yawns and sighs. Oh, And one other thing that I almost forgot is I want you guys to rate your energy on a scale of 1 to 10. Would you just do that right now before we do the technique? And then if I forget to do it afterwards, somebody remind me, go, hey, are we going to do that little post thing? So let's rate. 1 is I am so low today. I have no energy. And 10 would be I'm humming. I'm feeling really good. Okay, so let's just take a moment and I want you, some of the screen might be on for some of you and some not, but I want you to, just for fun, hold up your fingers as to what you decided what your energy is. And it's okay. It doesn't have to be exact. So I'm going to say for me, I'm actually feeling pretty good. I'm probably going to I'll give myself an 8. Okay. 8. Yeah, I'm pretty jazzed. I slept well, I ate breakfast, I took my vitamins, I did a little fitness this morning. So, and I even did one session on a client. So I'm on. All right. So think of your number and then you can either write that down or just remember it. Okay. All right. So here we go. Governing and central. So the governing meridian starts at the tailbone area and it comes straight up the spine and it comes over the top of the head and it ends right here at the top lip. Okay. Oh my gosh. Did I hit record? Did I? Yes, I did. I did that, right? Yes. Okay. So the governing comes over and ends here. And that's mostly about support and and then the central comes up the midline. It starts in the perineal area, comes straight up the midline and ends here. Okay. So that's mostly about feeling successful and feeling secure. Okay. Um, yeah, there was something else I was going to tell you about those two. Um, Oh, yeah, this is it. Those two are the only midline meridians. All the other meridians are bilateral. So they go down both sides of the body. And if you're doing a meridian trace, you always do want to trace both sides. My illustrations here only show one side of the body, but we always trace both sides. And you can do that at the same time. I mean, if you're working on a client, I will, have them hold up their arms and I'll trace both arms and back up and I'll do all that with them, usually while they're standing. For myself, I'll do one arm, then I'll do the other. Okay. And I just wanted to tell you there's 3 meridians that go down the front of the body. And one goes down the sides, one goes down the back. Okay. And then there's 3 that go up the body and they start at the toes and they come up the middle of your body and end either at your trunk or at your face. Okay. And then there's 3 that go down the inside of the arm and 3 that go up the top side of the arm. 3 that go down the inside, 3 that go up the top side. So really there's 12 in that pattern, and then there's the midline and then the other one. So I would say if you can't do a complete meridian trace, at least do the brain and the spinal cord, the central and the governing. Those are the most key. They're called extraordinary meridians. Okay, so take your hands, place them one below and at least 1 or 2 above. Okay, so here we go. I'm releasing all rigidity. Okay, if you want to close your eyes and just like listen to me do this, that's fine. Okay. So here we go. Releasing rigidity, disconnection, and any feelings of embarrassment. Okay, so I'm releasing these out of my governing, which is the top lip. Okay. And I'm releasing from my central insecurity, overwhelm, and feeling lost. Okay, so I'm going to have you take a deep breath in, breathe in, 2, 3, 4, hold 2, exhale 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, switch hands. Here we go. I'm infusing and choosing confidence. Okay, I'm choosing integrity, mental clarity. Okay, I'm choosing success, safety, and bonding. Okay. I am supported. I choose to nurture myself. Okay. Take a breath in, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. All right. Touch your 5 fingers together to anchor it. Okay. Lock it in with your 5 fingers. Okay, there we go. Yes, it shall be so. Now we're going to go on to stomach and spleen. So stomach starts underneath the eyes if we were tracing the meridian pathway. And I just wanted to tell you that these little illustrations have a B and an E. So there's a beginning and an end. If you're not, once you're on your own and you're trying to follow this, repeat it, those are the little symbols, the B and E, beginning and end. So the beginning for the stomach is here, and it goes down and around, and 2 hands go down the front of the body, and it goes down, down, down through your kneecaps, all the way out to your second toe. Okay, stomach. And then we go to the big toe, and we come up the inside of the legs, and we come all the way up to the armpit area, and we end right here at the sides, kind of like the bra line. Okay, so that's the pathway for the spleen. All right, so let's go ahead and we're going to put oh, you know what we'll do one side at a time. So we're going to put one hand underneath your eye, and I'm going to have your other hand just reach over and put that right on your side, about probably 3 or 4 inches below your armpit. Okay, so here we go. I release anxiety. I release restlessness. I'm letting go of all stress. Okay, I'm letting go of feeling inadequate, worried, and any unhealthy dependency. Okay, I'm letting that go. So breathe in, 2, 3, 4, and hold, 2, and exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, let's switch sides. Okay, I'm choosing peace. I choose peace. I choose acceptance. I choose support. I support myself. I can find support. I choose stability, nurturing, and boundaries. Okay, take a breath in, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I am content and blessed. All my needs are satisfied. I relax. I relax and do my best. And you know what? My best is good enough. Okay, breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's lock that in. There we go. Anchor that, touch the 5 fingers together. Okay. Take a breath. Maybe a yawn or a sigh. And we'll move on to heart and small intestine. So both of those have the pinky, okay, right at the fingernail bed. So the heart starts at the axilla and runs on the underside of the arm and comes to the pinky and then wraps around. Okay, so that's heart. Just think, out of my heart flows love. Okay, it's flowing out, so it goes down. Okay, and then the other one is small intestine, and that starts on the pinky, but it goes on the top side of the arm, and it comes wide on the shoulder, comes to the nose area, and then it ends back at the cheek. Okay, so small intestine and heart. And we're gonna, oh, there we go. We're gonna take those. I'm gonna ask you to take the pads of your thumbs and place them on top of your pinkies. Okay. And then we're going to take our 3 fingers. It doesn't matter. You can use any fingers you want, but we're going to just touch right in front of our ear. Okay. So I release hatred. And you know what? I was going to tell you guys, these emotions can be people towards you. Okay. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have hate, but somebody has been hating on you and it's been affecting you. Or somebody who is in your life is very insecure and their insecurity, it's kind of splashing on you. Okay. So I release hate. I release insecurity. I release emotional disarray, dysregulation. I release confusion. I release feeling unappreciated. And I release feelings of deprivation, feeling deprived. Okay, take a breath in, 2, 3, 4, hold 2, and exhale 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. All right, here we go. Now I'm going to infuse in their place love, compassion, emotional stability, self-trust, perseverance, clarity. Okay. I know who I am. I am safe and I'm loved. I know who I am. I am safe. I am loved. I choose to learn something from all life's experiences, including challenges. Okay. Take a breath in, breathe in, 2, 3, 4, hold 2, exhale 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, take your hands off and put your 5 fingers together, lock it in, anchor. Okay, yes, it shall be so. Oh, okay, good time for a water break. All right, let's move on. Bladder and kidney. Bladder is the longest meridian in the body. It starts at the inner campus of the eyes. It goes over the head, goes all the way down your spine bilaterally on each side of the spine. When you get to the buttock, it kind of makes almost like a little smiley face. Okay. Then there's a second path for meridian. You come back up to the base of the neck, top of the shoulders, and you pull you pull your hands down bilaterally and you go all the way through the buttock, down past the knees to the ankles, and you come out the sides of the feet and you end at the fifth toe. That's the bladder meridian. I tell my students when they're doing meridian tracing, it's okay to just go whoosh with one complete sweep all the way through. If you don't want to do that second line, it's okay. When you're doing the complete meridian trace, it still works. Okay. Then once I get down to the feet, the kidney starts on the balls of the feet. So I kind of have to cock my feet sideways and I reach my hands underneath my feet and I come up through the ankle bone, coming up the inside inner aspect of the legs, all the way up, 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 up. And we end right here at the clavicle area, right below the clavicle. Okay. There's almost like 2 little divots. Okay. That's where it terminates for the kidney. So we're going to take, I'm going to have you hold one side of the kidney with one side of the bladder. Okay. All right. So I release dread. I release resignation and restlessness. Okay. I release fear. I release insecurity. I release any anxiety. Okay. Take a breath in, breathe in, 2, 3, 4, hold 2, exhale 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Switch sides. All right. I choose to be decisive. I choose courage. I choose inner direction. Okay. I have willpower. I choose to use my strong will to let go of control, to let go of fear, to let go of the things that are holding me back from moving forward. I choose harmony. I'm thriving. I'm going to choose thriving as a lifestyle. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, hold 2, exhale 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Switch sides. All right. I choose to be decisive. I choose courage. I choose inner direction. Okay. I choose willpower. I choose my strong will to let go of control, to let go of fear to let go of things that are holding me back from moving forward. I choose harmony. I'm thriving. I'm going to choose thriving as a lifestyle. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, hold 2, Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I let go of tension and I allow peace to fill my body and my mind. I release fear and I live with confidence and faith. Okay, hands off, touch the 5 fingers together, anchor that in. Take a nice deep breath. All right. Pericardium and triple warmer. So pericardium, the way you can remember that, it's nip to tip. And the tip is the middle finger. The middle finger is the most electrical, and it's also associated with our sexuality. Okay. So it goes on the underside and ends there. And then I always say flip, nip to tip, and then flip. And we get the triple warmer, which starts on the ring finger. And that travels up the top side of the arm, around the ear, and ends right at the eyebrow. So we go wedding ring, ear ring, and then ring around the ear. So 3 rings. And then we end at the eyebrow. So that stands for thyroid, thymus, and adrenal glands. That's what triple warmer is.
And then around there.
That's right. So if you have not muted yourself, please mute yourself. Okay. All right. So we're going to couple those. I'm going to have you take your ring fingers and we're just going to place those, if you can, comfortably. We could just do both of these at the same time, or we could do one side, but I'm going to just try and experiment and go, okay, plop those right at the edges, your ring fingers at the edges of your eyebrows. Okay. I release emotional suppression. I release disappointment. I release yearning, unfulfilled longings and yearning. It's okay to have longings and yearnings, but not to let it drain your energy. Okay? I release stress, overwhelm, powerlessness. Take a deep breath in, breathe in, 2, 3, 4, and hold 1, 2, and then release 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Rest your arms for a moment. And now we're going to reset and repattern for the positive. Okay. So here we go. I receive and choose trust, openness, connection, adaptability, vitality, and hope. I forgive all who have wronged me, and I choose to take responsibility for my own growth. I'm going to own my stuff, you guys. Yes, I've been hurt. People have done things that shouldn't have happened to me, but it's my responsibility to forgive and to move on and to grow from it. So I forgive all who have wronged me, and I take responsibility for my own growth. I trust everything will work out all right. Okay, take a breath in, breathe in, 2, 3, 4, hold 2, exhale 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Take a breath and anchor that with your 5 fingers together. Okay, there we go. Yes, it shall be so. Liver and gallbladder. So liver starts on the big toes, comes up the inner aspect of the legs, ends right here at the midsection, okay, right below your breast. Gallbladder is a really long, zigzaggy one. It's, I think, the second longest meridian. It starts here at the corner of the eye and it goes down and then it goes up and it goes behind your ear and then it goes to your hairline and then it goes down the sides of your head and it goes all the way down the sides of your body and it goes out your 4th toe, kind of similar to the bladder, but touch the 4th toes at the end. Okay. So I tell my students that you don't have to figure out this really weird zigzaggy line. Just touch the eyebrow here and go whoosh. That's good enough. The body receives that and goes, oh, okay, that was close enough. And that's what I always say when you are tracing meridians, don't ever use one finger, just use wide hands. If you if you are want to, I always like to, when I'm doing a complete meridian trace, I like to touch the beginning and then I like to touch the ends, and anything in between, wide hands work. So it's okay. All right, so here we go. I'm going to have you do one side at a time. We're going to touch gallbladder at the side of the eyes. I mean, we could do it like this, but I don't want to talk like this. Okay, so we're going to do one side at a time. Touch the side of your eye right at the corner, and then take your hand and just touch. Well, you can just put your hand across your, right underneath your breast, and you're actually covering both of those points. Okay, here we go. I release any feelings of indecision, wishy-washy. I'm letting go of blame. I'm letting go of my stubbornness. I'm choosing to release any hostility, frustration, resentment. Take a breath in, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Let's switch our hands and touch the other side of the corner of your eye. Okay, I'm going to infuse and choose to be decisive. I make decisions with ease. That's right. I choose courage. I choose determination. I choose to be assertive and responsible. And I choose contentment. I'm content and blessed. Take a breath in, breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm willing to change to set myself and others free. You know, if I change, it will affect people around me. Could be positively, could be negatively, but I need to change for me. So I'm going to change. I'm going to be courageous and make the changes I need. I'm willing to change to set myself and others free. I choose wisely and I make timely decisions. Okay. Let's anchor that in. 5 fingers together. Take a deep breath. Let it go. All right. And I was going to tell you guys, some of these words might mean something to you and maybe not. And there's a longer list, and I'm going to share with you. I'm going to send you as a bonus a longer list in one of the follow-up emails. And then you can just go through those emotions one by one, and just, you can stop because you won't be on the webinar. You can take as much time as you need to ponder, mull it over. You might even want to do some journaling, let it go. And then that can be a much deeper, more thorough balance instead of us just going through these, but at least you're getting the pattern. So last but not least, let's do the large intestine. So large intestine starts, and the lung starts on the index finger, and it goes up the top side of the arm, and it goes to your nostril. Okay. In Chinese medicine, it goes to the opposite nostril, and then it ends at the same side. It really doesn't matter if you trace this and just go to the same side, it's close enough. Okay. The body is going to receive that. Then it's lung to thumb. Okay. So the lung starts up here in the lung area, and it goes down the top side of the, it goes down the underside of the arm, and it terminates at the thumb. Okay. So lung to thumb, index finger up to the nose. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to just take our thumbs and put them right there at the edges of our nose. Okay. I release control. I release any guilt. I release perfectionism. I release grief, sadness, depression. Take a breath in, breathe in, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. I choose release. I choose renewal. I choose compassion. I choose inspiration. I choose self worth. And I choose humility. Take a breath in, two, three, four. Hold, two, three, four, five. Oh, two. And then exhale, two, three, four, five, six. Okay. All right. I joyfully release all I no longer need to create space for new experiences. Okay. Space for growth. Cleaning out my closets, you guys, going through my clothes and getting rid of old clothes that I don't wear anymore, and shoes and purses. Okay. All right. In humility, I easily release, I recognize, in humility, I easily recognize my value and worth. Okay. All right. So hands off, take a deep breath, and let's lock that in, anchor that. All right. There we go. So that's all. We just went through all 14 meridians. Okay. I'm going to quit screen sharing. I want you guys to rate your energy. Okay. Rate your energy. Okay. Oh, ooh. What happened? Hang in there. Uh-oh. You guys. Okay. I thought I cut you all off for a second there. All right. So here we are. I want you guys to say how your energy is now. If you can, you just unmute yourself and just show me your fingers. Did anybody have an improvement of energy? Anybody feel a little bit better? All right. Tell me. Come on. You can either say it or unmute.
I went from a 4 to maybe a 7.
Yay. Who is that talking?
Kelby.
Hey. Okay, good. Can somebody else say what they went from?
I went from a 6 to just a 7.
Okay. All right. That's good. Any improvements better than none? How about you, Monica? Did you measure?
Um, I would say about the same, but I feel more peaceful.
Good. Okay. Yeah, yeah,
Yes, I
that's
agree with that too.
okay. Yeah. I was going to ask, did anybody notice any other shifts? Like just feeling a little more peaceful, a little more grounded, energetic, or more relaxed? Give me some feedback. Let me hear a couple,
Feeling
three.
very calm,
Okay.
very calm and like um still.
Uh-huh. Okay. All right. Somebody else. Come on.
I feel a little bit more peaceful, and my headache actually went away a little bit.
Okay. Good. Good. Yeah.
I feel more spacey, I would say. More space inside, more
Oh,
relaxed,
okay.
and I don't know. Well, nice, very nice work, actually.
Okay. I thought when you said you feel more spacey, I thought, uh-oh, meaning like, oh, I'm
No,
so like,
no, 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 absolutely no. When you have, lighter, okay, rather than spacey. So if you prefer lighter, yes,
yeah, great.
all over the body. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. Couple more. Anybody else? Okay. Well, you guys, if you like this kind of stuff, in the 3-day workshop that I teach, you'll learn a lot more about the meridians. You'll learn how to work with the vascular system. You'll learn how to figure out when a person has submerged emotions that are affecting their structure, why they can't really move forward. Like I was saying, like even in like body work sessions, same problem over and over. Maybe that person has some resentment or, anxiety, bitterness, unforgiveness lodged, in their organs. You release that and then they feel better emotionally, but then you also start to see that they're making progress physically. Okay. So I know you guys are busy. A lot of you need to get back. I just wanted to make an offer to you guys to say if any of you wanted to take my 3-day workshop. I know some of you guys are from all over and you can't, but I have a live workshop that I'm teaching in the fall in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, and in Manitowoc, Wisconsin, and Omaha, Nebraska. And I think you've gotten my emails. All those dates and locations will be coming out to you. But I wanted to offer you an extra $100 off. If you watch this webinar and just to say an appreciation, thank you, you could get an extra $100 off, and there's a discount code that says Meridian. So just type in Meridian if you want to get the extra 100 off. And you also get 200 off for registering early, like super early bird, like 60 days in advance. And then if you register 30 days in advance, you get 100 off. So if you put today's 100 with that 200, you could get as much as 300 off. So I would teach you so many more things of working with the body's energy that affects your emotions, your structure, your physiology, your responsiveness to other therapies. And you'll learn how to do muscle testing in the workshop. You'll muscle test other people, and then you'll even be able to learn how to muscle test yourself. And once you guys learn how to muscle test, that's a skill that you'll have with you for the rest of your life. You'll be able to test your foods and your supplements, and you'll use it in a plethora of different ways and be able to help your friends and family and clients. When you learn how to do the energy balancing, you'll get quicker, deeper, longer lasting results by balancing the energy system first. There's a couple of different ways you can work with it. If you want to just do a standalone energy balancing session, you can do that. Or if you just want to take bits and pieces from the workshop and intersperse those into your current practice, that can work too. I give you a menu at the end of the class, all the different things that you learn in that 3 days, you have a menu. And when you work with that menu with your clients and muscle testing, you can just have them come in and you can say something like this. It would be beneficial, like if I had Monica coming, it would be beneficial for me to use something off of this list on Monica today. And I would muscle test her. If her arm locks, her body goes, yes. I have it chunked down into sections: structural, energetic, and emotional. And all the different techniques that you've learned, I put, all of them in the structure section, and then all of them, broken down. So anyhow, we muscle test them. There's something from, it's a guide. I say the best place to begin in Monica's balance today would be in structure. No. In the energetic section? No. And something emotional? Yes. Okay. It's this? No. It's this? No. It's this. Oh, okay. Emotional stress release. So the body goes, I want you to, hold her head points. There's some kind of emotional stress that would be beneficial for her to release right on the front end before we do anything else. So we do that technique, and then we go back to the list. We have permission to continue working from this list? Yes. It would be here? No. It would be here? Yes. It's this. So you get the idea? We just go down. It's a very helpful, streamlined way of working. Okay. Takes the guesswork out of it. So when you do the energy balancing and muscle testing, you can ask the body, what's wrong, baby? Which organs are out? What do you need from me? So we can assess which organ we can work in the body's priority order. Who wants to be corrected and balanced first? Lung or stomach? Is it gallbladder or is it triple warmer? Who wants to be picked first? Okay, so through muscle testing, you can find out. And then once you say, okay, we found the triple warmer, that said, yes, pick me. Then we have a whole offering. What would you like to be balanced? Do you need me to work with the vascular system, the emotions? Do you need me to work with the lymphatic system? So we have a protocol we can go down and narrow it to what the body needs. It's a really efficient, dynamic way of working. And the body goes, thank you that you asked me, that you didn't just guess and say, well, I think we could try this, we could try that. And, it like we said, the massage will always feel good, but you can massage till the cows come home. You can massage till the cows come home. And if you're missing something in the body's energy system under the waterline, it's just going to come back. It's just going to keep reappearing. You learn how to do allergy corrections, which is just lovely. If I would have known that when my toddler son had all those food allergies, it would have helped so much. But for him, we just had to try to keep him out of, away from all those foods. And it worked sometimes and sometimes it didn't. But today I would do the allergy correction on him. He's an adult now. He works as a psychologist. He didn't end up falling through the cracks. Yay. Because I was able to figure those things out and keep those out of his diet and use all these different techniques that I teach in my workshop. I used a lot of them on my kids growing up. And that's another thing. Even if you don't use these in your private practice, just using these techniques in your own personal life will be extremely beneficial. And the last module that I teach you is all about self-care. So almost everything that you do on your clients, you'll be able to use on yourself as well. Okay. So, yeah, is that about it? Yeah, we work with sports performance. Also, there's something called gait reflexes that will help people be more coordinated and help them to use the proper muscles that the body needs to use. We get mixed up with our left and our right sides, and there's a communication gap in the laterality aspect of the brain. So then we're recruiting muscles that get really fatigued because they're not really the right ones for facilitation and inhibition. So yeah, but I'm willing to open up the floor now. If anybody wants to ask questions, I will be here. We've got 5 minutes left, and then I will even stay past that. So anything else? Or comments? I'd love to hear comments also, you guys. Okay. I'm trying to think if I'm missing anything. Yeah, so if you liked this and you want to learn more about balancing the energy system. Oh, yes, this is what I wanted to tell you. You can take the online course as well, because a lot of you aren't gonna be able to make these cities and this location for you and these dates. So you could take the online course, and the $100 even extends to that. And when you take the live workshop, I'm going to give you the very same course, the online course. You're going to get access to that for 2 years. So you can go back and review over and over again as many times as you want in that 2-year span to really reinforce your learning. If you felt like, okay, there was a lot in the 3 days, what did she say again? No worries. You get access to the course. And then the online course, you get 1 year access. And there is a little thing I've got on my website that if you need to extend your access, you can click a button and pay. I don't remember what, it's a small fee, but you can get another year of access. So here's the deal. I want to support you guys. Okay. I took a lot of courses and I did not get it when I when I finished, I felt overwhelmed. And then there was no access to the instructor. And I felt like how it was kind of a waste. Well, I don't want to be like that. I want to be the instructor for you guys that you can actually reach out to. You can email me, you can text me, you can call me, and I will answer your questions. And I offer quarterly meetups so that you can come back every quarter and you can get your questions answered. And I also offer a one-on-one Zoom mentoring session. If you feel like, hey, I just need you to watch me do a balancing session and get your feedback and make sure that I'm doing everything right, that's an opportunity that you can take advantage of too. It's on my website. So I give you handouts to give to your clients. I give you marketing materials. I provide like all the forms that you need, like a new client intake form and I chart notes, and I encourage you to print out a lot of the techniques so that you can share them with your clients. You can teach your clients to hold some of the emotional release points on their head. It's kind of like coaching. You want to empower them to do some of their own work in between sessions. So that can be really helpful too. All right. Any questions? Okay. All right. Monica, can you say anything about what you learned or some of the techniques that you've used on your clients? Would you be willing to share anything?
Um, it was great to learn all the points, but then working with a client, being able to apply that during a session, incorporating it with my massage session and, and doing the neuromuscular points and those words are very, very powerful for a lot of people. And it's amazing to see how quickly that they can change and yet they feel it.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you used any of the work on yourself? Monica is a former student of mine. Have you used any of the points on your head for your own emotional stuff occasionally?
Not as often as I should, and I sure needed it this week. So it's kind of a nice reminder that not only for others, but to do it for yourself.
Right, right. Good for you. Are you still working actively in your business? Are you seeing clients regularly or full-time,
Yes,
part-time?
part-time.
Okay. All right. And how are you feeling about the muscle testing? Are you able to do that occasionally or?
Yeah, doing that occasionally. I think, need more confidence in that. It's, one of those that I second guess, and that's not what you're supposed to do. So
Yeah. Yep. And
go with the flow.
right. And so, yeah, some reminders about I do teach the students like about rubbing points to switch on your brain body connection beforehand. A lot of people who study muscle testing run into a problem when they're in class, they're doing well, but then when they get out there with their clients, they're like, oh, wow, what am I supposed to do? Because if they run into a bump, and I give you several different ways to troubleshoot what could be wrong. Is it that I'm pushing too hard or the client, there's like a whole list of things. Hydration is a big one. If a person doesn't have enough water in their system, that will cause the muscle responses to be inconsistent. And then there's even absorbing water. Have you done anything with the water absorption? Remember how I said you have to rub the pyloric sphincter if they're not absorbing water? Have you had any experience with that at all, Monica?
Not with other clients. And I actually didn't even think of that last week. And I had one of those clients that feels like they're drinking and drinking, but they're not absorbing anything. And
Uh-huh.
now I wish they would have thought of that.
Yeah, right. So now when they come back in, check their pylorus. I teach a technique of figuring out when the pylorus it's like a flapper valve and it can get stuck open or stuck shut. So check them for that. And even if you don't muscle test, palpate around the area. And if it's extremely tender, it's probably out of balance. And then remember, you do the clockwise massage on the pylorus. And if you can try to find it, and remember, it feels like the little rubber os, it's a little bit tough. It feels kind of like cartilage. I show students where to find that, and then they massage that. And then the pain should dissipate a little bit. It should start to feel a little bit better. And then when you muscle test and you have them touch the pylorus, then you'll get a nice locking response after you massaged it and popped it open or, yeah. So then have them drink water and then retest. And now it will be a whole different thing. I teach them pull a little bit of hair to check hydration. So you pull hair and then you muscle test while you're pulling the hair. And if it locks, they're usually sufficiently hydrated. But if you pull the hair and the arm unlocks, the body goes, ooh, I need water. But then like in Monica's situation with her client, that client drinks more water and it's not responding. It's either locking on everything, or it's like mush, mush, mush. So anyhow, I teach you how to assess what the problem is and then how to address it. So good reminder for you, Monica, to do that with your client. So if you use I give you a chart note, and that if you are following that chart note, it says right at the top, hydration, and then you check that box. So I've got several boxes, like before you do a balance, you should do A, B, C, and D. And that's all listed there. And I have a yes and a no. So anyhow, go back to your little chart note and as your reminder. All right. Well, I'm gonna
Thank
stop
you.
recording but I will hang out here. If I can figure out where the record button is. I think I have to put my glasses on, you guys. Okay, here we go. Stop recording.